everybody, it's Valerie. I'm here. I finally got my paper pumpkin. I think this is the longest I've ever waited for my paper pumpkin. And as we all know, everything that has to do with shipping these days is a little bit slower than normal. So we just have to be patient and wait for our things to get here. And so I have been patient and it's here. So yay. All right, we are going to open it up. We are going to play around with it and see what is inside. All right, as always, we have a stamp set. Oh, this is so cute. It's got the fireworks. It's got a lantern, like to put little, put your little fireflies in. It's got when, where, RSVP, you're invited, you light up my life, it's a party. And this one says, oh, the summer nights are all alight with everything magic and bright. That's really cute. I actually love that. And I love that. Look at this. If you subscribe to this, every month for a year, you have 12 stamp sets. It's totally worth it. And 12 ink spots. So this one comes with Blackberry Bliss. And it's got our little Summer Nights add-on here, or it talks about it, which I haven't bought this yet, but you can add 24 card bases and envelopes for $10 that will go with what is in here. And as you can see, they've got printed envelopes that have little fireflies on them. They've got the gorgeous card bases. So it's definitely something you'll want to do if you have a lot of cards to make, or if you want to make invitations for something. So now you always get everything wrapped up in tissue paper. And this is the normal color. They usually do like balmy blue. Sometimes with special occasions, they have different colors. So if you have your kit, go ahead and open up your kit. I see Sherry's watching. I know she's probably getting her kit out to do some cards because we have been talking about this for a few days because she has had her kit and I have been waiting for mine. Everything is always packed in this fantastic little, shrink wrap. So everything stays protected in here. All right, so we have our adhesives and we have a little bit of, looks like Night of Navy Baker's Twine. Oh, look at these gold star enamels. Those are gorgeous. I love those. Look how many there are on there. So we've got row of 5 by, so there's 50 of these. So 50 embellishments along with that fantastic stamp set. So think about that. You get an embellishment every month. You get some adhesive every month. You get an ink. You get a stamp set. Look at these fantastic little bags. Now these are meant, if I can get mine open, because I don't want to rip it when I'm opening it. Ah. All right. Once you get your little bags open, there we go. I'm apparently got to be smarter than the bag, right? You can stamp on these, but these are meant to put little battery tea lights in and then decorate your tables outside for an event, or put them in your house, put them on your fireplace, put them on your dining room table, put a little tea light in them. They would be super cute. So you could do that with all of these. And how many are in here? I think there's 9. I feel like, yeah, 9 of the tea light bags. So these are super cute. I'm just going to leave that one open and set it aside. Then we've got 9 postcards. Aren't these great? Look at these. So even though they're just like a postcard type deal, we've got envelopes. So you can mail them in envelopes because you're going to decorate them anyway. But then you can write your little sentiment on the back to someone. So we have 3 with this design. 3 with the gorgeous, oh, love these. These are so gorgeous. I'm going to call this like a summer night, a summer sky, like at sunset. And then these are obviously nighttime, these other 2, but these are super pretty. And then of course we have the envelopes. Now there's no printing on the envelopes, so we can always add something to that later. We can stamp on it. And then we have a ton of die cuts, including my favorite, vellum. Look at these jars, these gold embossed vellum jars. These are fantastic. So I hope if you're watching, I hope you got this kit because it really is gorgeous. Let me see how many there are of these. 1, 2, 3. So there are 6 of the jars. Then you have all these wonderful die cut labels, and these labels are actually the same labels that are in the Tasteful Labels dies. So once you're done with this kit, if you want more, you just order those Tasteful Label dies. I know it's hard to see them because it's white on white while you're looking at this video. But they're on here, I promise, these little white dies or labels that are already cut out. And then we have all of these die cuts, the Ferris wheels, the fireflies, the little lanterns. I mean, I really love this set. It's really, really cute. So according to Stampin' Up, they said if you order the extra 24 card kits, after they got done making all 9 of their postcards and using their pieces from this, they had enough to make 23 of those cards with die cuts on them. So of course, if you cut back, like maybe use 2 fireflies instead of 3, you would have more to use, obviously, for your 24 extra cards if you get them. But these jars like really make me happy. I love these little jars. All right, so let's get started. We are going to start by working on the projects that are on the front. And we'll start with this one on the left. So that is going to involve this postcard right here. And I'm just gonna, you know me, I'm gonna go by the photo because that's usually how I operate anyway. I guess we don't need that trim until we get over here to this one. I'm gonna grab, I've got my other dimensionals out already, so we'll use some of those first since we already have those out, or since I've already used from those. Save my other ones as giveaways. I've got my mini. I'm gonna grab my Blackberry Bliss. And of course, you can always add other colors to this as you're stamping too. I'm just gonna make one of each of these projects just like they did. So we are going to just use Blackberry Bliss. All right, so to get started, we're going to need for this first card, the fireworks, and we're gonna need the fireflies. So let me grab blocks for those. The firefly fits perfectly on the little tiny block. This is block A. Look, he's perfect on there. Let me get him straight, just somewhat straight anyway. And then this one will fit perfect on D. D is like one of the most popular ones as far as size-wise, I think. All right, so we're just gonna use some Blackberry Bliss. We're gonna stamp a few of the fireworks in our sky here. And then this is going to have one of the jars on it. It's not going to take a jar, it's going to have a jar. And then we need the sentiment, "It's a party." So let's get that one on the block too, just so we have it. This is a little big, but I like these longer blocks when I'm doing sentiments that are in a row, in a line, I guess you could say. We'll take one of these little, and we're gonna stamp it right on this little one here. And so we've got "It's a Party." Pop that baby out of there. They have a nice little lined embossing around them. I think it's really cute. And then we're gonna need some fireflies. I love these little fireflies. I think they're adorable. And they all have, their little butts are gold, so it's like they're actually lit up, yay! Which makes them even cuter, right? All right, so for the little jar, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some glue dots, because those are pretty, especially the tiny ones. that come in the Paper Pumpkin. Like I said, I've already got some that I've used off from the sheets. These are Paper Pumpkin ones here. They're just not on that same sheet. These are super tiny. And when you put them on the back of vellum, you can hardly see them. So I'm going to put at the bottom, I'm going to put one in the middle at the bottom as well, because that's going to be covered by this label anyway. But then at the top, where the gold is around here on the edges, I'm going to put one on each side there, because they'll be partially hidden that way. But that way it'll hold the jar down and it won't be flopping around. Of course, you got to get all those little backings off those tiny glue dots too. That's the catch. You have to get the tiny little dots off. All right. Oh, before we put the jar on, we better stamp our fireflies in there too, where we're going to put our jar. So we'll stamp a couple of these little fireflies in there. And then of course we'll have the fireflies on the outside as well. Oh, look at those little fireflies in there. They're so cute. And now you can't even see those glue dots that I put on there. So even with this covering it, which is going to be great, you still can't see the glue dots anyway. They're so tiny that they just work perfectly. Grab a couple of dimensionals for the back of that and for the back of our other fireflies. And I'm just going to use the mini ones for the fireflies. That's what comes in your kit anyway. So you'll have mini ones for everything. Take your backings off of those and we will get them stuck on there. They're so adorable. And I love, what a cute little invitation this would be. So the other side, before you add all this stuff, you would add it, your invitation information, which I'm not going to send this as an actual party invitation. So I'm just going to keep it like this. And I'm going to put one of these fireflies directly over where that little firework is, because it kind of looks like that's where the little firefly is emitting its light from. So it works perfect both for the fireflies and for this. So there's the first one, super easy. And again, you can stamp all your information on the back with your invitation if you want to. Now we will do the one with the little Ferris wheel, which I love this. This really does remind me of a summer night when you're just, it's been hot out and you're sitting outside cooling off after the warm day, and then you've just got that a little bit of a chill in the air depending on where you live. Not here in Florida, but back in Michigan there would have been a little bit chill in the air. So all right, so we've got our little Ferris wheel cut out. The only thing we're going to be stamping for this one is our label. So I'm going to grab that stamp set with that beautiful saying on it about summer nights and magic. It's such a beautiful thing and I really like this. I'm going to have to make some other cards with this saying on it because it's just gorgeous. And then you're just going to put that right in the center of one of the largest labels. Love that. It's looking like it's a little bit lighter at the top. I think I need to re-ink my Blackberry Bliss, but if I do it right now, then it's going to be too wet and it would be too hard to stamp with it. So we're just going to leave it for now until we're ready. All right, go ahead and take some dimensionals for the back of your Ferris wheel. That's the beautiful thing about these die cuts. You don't have to do too much with them. Just add them to your card. Now you can always stamp something on them if you want to, I guess, but these have plenty of detail with that gold embossing. And there's a little roller coaster in the background behind the Ferris wheel over here on the right. super cute. Love this. And now it looks like they did theirs flat, but I'm gonna put dimensionals on the back of this because I kind of want it raised up. I think it'll look cute like that. So if you have not signed up yet for August Paper Pumpkin, that one is supposed to be a great one for thanking the everyday heroes in your life, teachers, all of essential workers, that type of thing. And I also think it's just going to be a great stamp to use to make cards for guys. Now, I haven't seen the actual stamp set, but if you're on my Facebook page watching this, or if you're on YouTube, go to my Facebook page and you can see it's got like trophies and that kind of thing. So that's one reason I'm thinking it's going to be a good stamp set to make guy cards with. All right, so we're going to add a couple of these enamel stars. Now, these are big enough that all you have to do is just kind of bend the paper a little bit and they'll come off, but they have that adhesive right on them, like it's sticking to my finger instead of the paper right now. And I also noticed on our little die cuts, we have some little stars here too. So I'm gonna add a couple of these little stars on here with some dimensionals. And they're just a gold embossed star. And I say we add a couple of those on there. We are not gonna let any of these go to waste because they're super cute. And I did, I just stuck my finger in the ink pad because it would not be crafting with Valerie without her sticking her finger in the ink pad at some point, right? So if you've ever watched me, you know I always end up doing that no matter how careful I'm being. All right, so there is the second one. How cute is that? Look at those, aren't those, oh, gorgeous, love them. They make me very happy. Very, very happy. All right, get that stamp out of the way. And I'm gonna do the last postcard before we go onto our little bag. This one is going to use the twine, and we are going to have all those little lanterns. Oh, I love these little lanterns. They're super cute. So when you punch them out, each one of them, I'll take the lid off that. In the center, you can punch that out so you have the little handle. Look how cute that is. It's like a little mason jar lantern. I love that. And then you've got some little roundish looking ones. And we're gonna need 5 of these. So we're gonna go with 1 of each. And then 2 more little mason jar ones, and the Night of Navy and Pool Party, possibly Coastal Cabana. I didn't look at the color list that's on the back. Coastal Cabana. So it's Coastal Cabana, Blackberry Bliss, Night of Navy, Flirty Flamingo. All these colors go so great together. Love them. All right, so we're gonna need a mini dimensional on the back of each of these. And then we're gonna need a piece of the Night of Navy twine. And I'm gonna have to look at the directions to see exactly what they did, if they just tied this in a knot at the end, or if they actually tied it around the card, laced it through. Huh. It almost looks like they just tied a knot at the end and stuck the, okay, 2 4-inch pieces of baker twine, tie a knot at each end and use an adhesive dot. That's perfect. All right, so I'm even gonna be good and I'm gonna measure this time. You know me, I normally don't measure, but because look at, there's just only so much on here, we need to measure. Make sure we get about 4 inches for each piece. And then we'll tie a knot at the end of each. Because I do not want to waste this, because it's gonna be so cute once it's on there. Now I need to stamp some of the fireworks on here. before we attach our lanterns anyway. So we can do that in just a second. Hi Ingrid, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. So far so good here. Just getting some crafting in. Finally got my paper pumpkin yesterday. Super excited about that. And I'm already looking forward to August paper pumpkin. I just love getting paper pumpkin. It's like a gift in the mail to myself when it comes. It's like, oh, it's Christmas. Because I do. I buy it for myself. So it's a fun gift to give to yourself. You don't have to buy it for someone else. You can just buy it for yourself. That's the way I look at it. All right, let's go ahead and stamp some of our little fireworks on here. And you can just do as many or as few as you want. I'll probably do 3 or 4 on here because I want to get some down here too, because this is up in the sky. Now you can, like this one I kind of went off. You can go off with as many or as few as you want. They don't all have to be on the paper. Now we're going to take our lanterns, and the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the glue dots and just stick it here on the side of the paper and stick one end of my baker's twine down with it. And then it doesn't matter which order you do your lanterns in, it's whatever order you want them in. So I'm going to start with Flirty Flamingo. I'm not even taking the backings off from them yet. I'll do that in a minute. And then we'll do that cute Coastal Cabana one. And then we'll do a Night of Navy one. And then we're going to hook this string up here with another glue dot and a little to the right of center, and then stick that down. Now we can play around with our lanterns and figure out where we want them. But first, let's glue our other string over here because we got to kind of crisscross them and then have our other lanterns on this side. So now it looks like they had their string really tight, but mine's kind of loose, so maybe I have a little bit more than 4 inches. But I feel like it was 4 inches. I measured it, right? Look, that's what happens when I measure. I get the wrong length. All right, we'll just bring that one over a little bit to the left of center. And then we'll thread these ones through. And what's fun about this is once you hook your lanterns down, you don't have to worry about how loose or tight your string is because they're just going to kind of hold it in place anyway. And it will look super cute. So the first one, that Flirty Flamingo, we're going to kind of pull it down just a little bit. And then we'll add our next one. We'll take the backing off from that one. And then our Night of Navy one. And I kind of want them all like they're hanging straight down. Although it would be cute going from side to side, and they're going to be kind of hanging straight down anyway, I guess because of the weight of the lantern. So I guess it kind of makes more sense to do it that way. Look at how cute that is. It's super easy to do. Like you would see that and think, oh, that's difficult, but oh my gosh, so easy. All right, grab our labels again because we're going to do that same sentiment that we did, but we're just going to put it on a little bit smaller label. The one about summer nights. I'm going to ink it all over to make sure it's nice and inked up. And if you get a little bit on the block like I did, don't worry about it. As long as you don't push your block down, it's not going to come onto what you're stamping. It's just going to stay on the block. And when you clean your block in your stamp later, it's just going to come right off that block. Add some dimensionals to the back of this. Get our sentiment on there, and then we will be done with the postcards, and then we can decorate one of the little bags. I'm gonna put this kind of in the center. Since I did my lanterns kind of going that way, it works out perfectly. I guess I should have taken this string and put it through my Night of Navy one too, so it's not just kind of laying over the top of it, but that's all right. We're gonna leave it just like that for now. Oh, love these. All right, so for the bag, little tip, because when I'm looking at this, I can see if I stamp it directly, if I just fold this down and stamp it, I'm gonna have ink on the inside of my bag. So I'm just gonna take a piece of scrap paper, it's just a regular piece of copy paper, and fold it and kind of put it inside. This is a little too wide, let me make it a little bit smaller. So then when your bag is folded down, look, I made it smaller and it's still too big. All right, let me just cut a piece off. That will be so much easier than me wrestling with this. As long as it's wide enough to cover that firework on the front. Perfect. So you just slide it in there, fold your bag back down, and then when you stamp, it's not gonna go onto the inside of your bag. Now, if you want it on the inside of your bag, that's fine. Then stamp it that way. But I don't. I kind of just want to do my little fireworks, and I should have pressed harder on that I did, because I didn't quite get it, but maybe I'll put a firefly there. We'll add, let me get my paper out of the way. I've got too many die cuts over here now on this side where my stamps are. So we've got that little firefly. I'm going to add that little firefly on there because he's just cute anyway. We'll add him on there in a couple of spots. And then they have some of these cute little gold enamel stars on here. And you can put them wherever you want. I'm just kind of strategically placing them over where I messed up the stamping. That way no one knows, right? Then open your bag back up. Again, you have to be smarter than the bag. I cracked myself up. All right, and there you have it. And then you put a little tea light in there. And how cute is that? I'm gonna have to see if I have any battery operated tea lights so I can take a picture of this with a battery operated tea light in it, because I don't know if I have any. Now you also have this cute little, look at this lanterns. So all these little lanterns that we die cut out, or that we have die cuts of, we have a little lantern stamp. This is a fantastic little set. And of course the little firefly, I don't know if he'll actually fit inside the lantern. He's kind of big, but that's okay. Still, we get the picture. But anyway, you got that little lantern, which you can hook onto this little stick. It's adorable. Or you can use this with your fireworks to make a sparkler. Let's see what's on the back for their alternatives. Oh, they did make sparklers. Yay! I had a good idea and I didn't even realize that was on there. I'm gonna grab just a scrap piece of paper and we're gonna make some sparklers. And I think I'm going to use a different color than Blackberry Bliss just because I can. Let's use maybe, let's go with some basic gray. And then we'll add some Wink of Stella to it to make it sparkly. So let's get this clean. Let's just play around with this and see how it looks. Make sure I don't have any of that extra ink on the edge because I don't want to get that on my basic gray ink pad. Because in case you didn't know, so if you mix inks, sometimes it's not good. You can't get that extra ink off, especially if the ink that you accidentally mix in is darker than your original ink. It really is not a good thing. So let's do some basic gray. And I'm just gonna do 2 of these, I think. And then we'll stamp these in basic gray too. Now, what would be great also would be to do these with Versamark, and then you could emboss them. That would be fantastic. But I kind of want to see how sparkly it looks with the Wink of Stella on there. Let's see if I have any wink. Oh, I do have some wink. I need to see if we can get it on there to make it sparkly. I may need to open up a new wink. I don't have a lot of wink going on. And you don't want to squeeze it too much, even though it says on the side here to push. If you squeeze it too much, you're going to have wink everywhere, just like that. Let's get some of that off the brush. Then we can add some sparkle. But it was like, it felt like it was clogged. I haven't used it in a while. Oh, but that's perfect. It's adding just the right amount of sparkle to my sparklers. Love that. Look at that. Can you see the sparkle on my sparklers now? If I move it around, hopefully. Let's go a little bit over here. A little bit naked on that side for sparkle. Maybe once I take a picture of it, you'll be able to see it better. But let's cut this down a little bit and add it to a card base. Oh, where's my paper trimmer? That's right, I forgot. I went over and prepped cards today for the Hippo Happiness card class. So if you're part of that card class, we prepped, got everything cut. And I will be mailing the kit out tomorrow that needs to be mailed. And then if you joined and are local and are picking it up, I'll have those ready tomorrow to pick up. Let's do this at 4.5. I don't even know how wide it was. I need to measure how wide it was before we put some more paper underneath it. 3 3/4 by 4.5. So it's kind of an odd. Let's make it 3.5. We're going to cut our sparkler off just a little bit, but that's okay. All right, we'll grab some paper to put under it. Let's go with Blackberry Bliss, since that's probably what we'll do our sentiment in. And we're going to need to be 3 3/4 by 4 3/4, just so it's just a little bit bigger than what we put down. It doesn't have to be super big. And then I'm pretty sure I already have, definitely have Whisper White card bases, but I would kind of like to do a basic gray card base maybe, because I think that would be pretty with this. We've got that. We're going to add a sentiment, and I think we'll add that, the Summer Nights sentiment, because it just was really pretty and I really kind of like it. So we'll add that sentiment on here. And you know what? Let's use one of our, we already have all these little labels. We have extra, so let's use one of our labels. And then we can maybe do some sponging around the edges. Let me see if I have a sponge that already has been used for Blackberry Bliss, because I don't want to make another one if I already have one. And of course, we're gonna have like buckets full. Rich Razzleberry. Blackberry Bliss, yay! All right, so we'll just sponge around our little sentiment. Just so it has a little bit of a frame around it. Love it. If you haven't done sponging before, it's super easy. And it adds just a little bit to your project that you normally don't add. Now, you can see where I went through a little bit with that alcohol from the Wink Estella when I had to squeeze it to get it out there, because I haven't used it in forever and it was a little clogged. But that's okay. It's going to dry. Just going to add some Stampin' Seal on here. Add that onto our Blackberry Bliss. And I'm going to take that Blackberry Bliss and go ahead and put some on the back of that, and then we'll add it to a card base. And I was going to do basic gray, but I'm thinking smoky slate might be the better bet. So let's grab some smoky slate. And I even have a piece of smoky slate that this can fit onto that has already been run through. Has been run through the embossing, subtle embossing folder. So let's just use that because that'll be perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and score this card. I know I don't have any card bases in smoky slate right now because I used them the other day. So we need to make one. So I scored it at 4 1/4 and then cut it at 5 1/2 for the way I want my card to fold. Fold it down, grab your bone folder, give it a good crease, and then we're gonna add some dimensionals to the back of this. Now see, we've got lots of pieces here, so we're just gonna use some of these pieces because we don't need to get a whole new, open a whole new one up when we can use all these edge pieces. We'll cut this one apart and put this one in the center, a little piece on the edge. And we're gonna add our sentiment, and we're definitely gonna add some of those gold stars on here just because we can. And we have so many of those enamel stars. They'll be perfect for this. Do we get all our backings off? Now it's not a super colorful card. I will say that. Maybe I should have used some different colors, but I love these colors together, so definitely not complaining. I think they're good colors. We'll kind of take our sentiment, put it down just a little bit. Add a couple of our, do we want gold stars on there? I don't know, let's add, I'm really loving these. I think I've used these in almost every project I've done lately, these Artistry Bloom sequins. So if you have not bought the Artistry Bloom sequins, then I am not doing my job properly because these are so perfect. Look, they fit one right in the middle of each of those sparklers. How pretty is that? And then we can do just a couple of small ones down here. Ta-da! Look at that, that's so cute. And super easy to make. So there's just a fun, quick alternative. And of course you can put a piece of Whisper White on the inside. Not a huge deal. It's something just a little bit different. We've got all of our little postcards that we made. Gotta get all my supplies out of the way so I can show you everything that we made. And then our little bag. Look how cute that is. Love how that turned out. So thank you for joining me today for the paper pumpkin. If I come up with any other fantastic ideas here in the next few minutes, I will make them and post them as well so you can see. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got this paper pumpkin because it really is adorable and it really makes fun cards and pieces. Now the wonderful thing about these is, guess what? You can still add them to the front of a card if you want to. You don't have to use them as a postcard. Add them to a card base and then you just have a regular card. So it's up to you how you want to use them. So I totally appreciate you joining me. I hope you will join me for my next video, which will definitely be Update Tuesday, if not before. I feel like I've got a lot of craftiness in me this week, so I might be doing some more videos this weekend. So thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.